I'll start sharing my screen. Hi guys, able to see my screen?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, hi, welcome you all for the session for introduction to airflow. This is Syed, part of asset mark team, and I'll be taking this session. Uh, so, first of all, let me start with the introduction on what is airflow. So, uh, not sure how many of them are worked in airflow before, but let's give you the basic idea on how we use airflow in our project and how we can utilize it in our project in to execute data pipelines in big data. So basically, an Airflow is a workflow orchestration tool which can programmatically author, schedule, and monitor workflows. So it, it helps us schedule and run our complex data pipelines. So most of us we will be using cron jobs to schedule a pipeline. But we wouldn't be having a provision to uh, execute in a correct order. We would have a set of tasks, but we can trigger it, but to order it and make it a relation between these tasks. So airflow is somewhat higher than cron jobs, which we can define it using a tag. So airflow helps us to make sure that each task of our pipeline will get executed in correct order, also with which also tracks the state of jobs, and we can recover the failure state, and then we can resume it from the state we saw our data job filed, and then we can resume it from there. So this is somewhat a basic explanation on airflow. So I'll go to the benefits of fetch airflow. So airflow is like if we have a bit of Python knowledge, so we are good to go with the airflow. So it is basically a Python code where we define task and tag. So it is very easy to learn, and you can easily quickly write a Python code in like to define a tag, and then we can start working on it. And it is open source, and it was developed by Airbnb and made open source in 2015. It is used by around 350 organization, and we have around thousand more than 1,200 contributors. And it has robust integration, so which will give us the provision to easily integrate it with the cloud platforms and cloud technologies like GCP, AWS, Azure. As I said, so it is very simple to write a complex workflows in a simple Python code. And Airflow provides a rich user interface for where we can where we do not need to trigger a data pipeline through a command line or through a Python code, so we can easily trigger it in the user interface. Um, so to give you an understanding on how we implemented how we implemented this workflow airflow in our product called Smart Insights. So any of you so aware of the product Smart Insights we had in our latent view? Most of us aware of it, right? We had a
Yes,
product
Syed,
called,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So we were working on the identifying the potential trend across market for a specific category. Category maybe a food category or a like under food category. We were identifying the potential trends in meat substitutes. So we extract a huge amount of data across social platforms like like YouTube, Twitter, and the e-commerce, and the e-commerce site like Amazon. So after extracting the data, we process it, and then we put it in S3. So after putting it in S3, we have another layer. After processing the data, we put it in S3, and then from S3 we have different kind of glue job, which is in AWS. We have different set of glue jobs which we have to run to derive the output, the analysis output. Um, Output to provide in UI. So, for example, so we have a competitor analysis pipeline, which finds the potential competitor in that specific category in that market. Uh, we extract as we extract data, and then when we put it in S3, so we have different jobs. For example, so we for analysis, for analyzing the competitor, we have competitor brand list one, and then we had dim competitor filling. We have different kind of glue jobs. So these are all the naming convention we used for glue job. We have 5 glue jobs for this specific pipeline. And then after writing the output of a glue job, when we put it in S3, so we do data refresh in Athena, right? So we do MSCK repair like we do in HDFS, we do FSCK. So similarly, we do MSCK in S3. So these jobs, like it was very tough for us to monitor each and every job, and then like each job has these dependencies between them. So after executing competitor 0, we have to execute competitor 1 after. So because competitor 1 is expecting the input from competitor 0, so we need to monitor each and every job out of it, and then we have after the output from competitor 0, we have to refresh that in Athena as well. So we had this complex scenario, and then we were manually looking at each and every, executing every job, and then we refresh the data in our S3. And this was very complex, and then it was very time taking, and then there was a lot of manual effort in it. But how the Airflow helped us solving this problem, and then we were able to execute a category within a day, which we used to execute for 4 to 5 days. We were able to execute in a day, so which Airflow helped us to. So this was the problem we were having. So this is an example of a competitor analysis. Similarly, we find the potential influencer, where we have a different set of jobs for influencer analysis, and then we find the co-occurrence in a conversation to find the driver analysis. What drives the particular conversation? We find the driver, and then we have source filter. So we have different set of analysis, and in each analysis we have different set of jobs. So this was very complex scenario. So if you see the architecture here, we have the glue job 1 here, and then the output of glue job 1 is the input for glue job 2. But if you see glue job 3, it's like that doesn't depend on glue job 1, so these two can run parallelly. So it's like, so we try to accommodate uh, which can be run parallel, we try to do that as well. So if there is no dependencies between the jobs, so this was the problem. And so how like this Airflow helped us to solve this problem. So for each category we have a separate job ID, category ID, and project ID. Once we change or inserted this value in our config YAML file, so it just have to run that YAML file to get the parameters across the DAG, and then once we trigger the DAG, that's it. So it was handling all the execution of the glue jobs, as well as querying the Athena. So this was majorly helped us, so which accelerated the execution of a category, and then it also shows like high visibility in failure, glue job failure or the query failure in AWS. So I'll finally, so we will have a demo session. So after which, so we can also see how we have did this in our Smart Insights product. Yeah. So I'll go to the next slide. So this is the architecture. So Airflow architecture. This is basically the components we have in Airflow. So Airflow have a metadata DB, so which stores the metadata about the data pipelines we run, and then this can be a MySQL DB or a Postgres. This can be anything. And then we have web server and scheduler. So these two are a separate process, but that runs on the local machine, which interacts with the DB, and then we have executor. It is mostly discussed in Airflow. So which we have local executor, sequential executor, we have celery executor. So sequential executor runs only one task at a time. The worker run the same machine as the scheduler. And then we have a local executor, which is very similar to sequential executor, but this can run multiple tasks at a time. So the architecture maybe a bit tough to understand. While we go to demo, we will be able to understand this. So and then we can we have worker. Worker is the actual process which runs the task, and then we have user interface. We have airflow.cfg, which is the config file where we have the web server, where we assign the web server port, and then if we are using if we have to mail on failure, or uh, we assign the sender email in Airflow CFG. So this is what these are all the Airflow components. So I have explained the same in the components. So these are all the components which we have in Airflow. Uh, so I think I have explained these through the architecture itself. So any doubts till this? If any, you can freely raise it. Okay, right. I'll assume there is no question till now. Okay. So we'll go to the next part, which is DAG. DAG is the heart of the it is the heart of Airflow. So DAG, abbreviated directed acyclic graph, so which we would have read it in mathematics. So where we define the each task as a in a workflow. So it's like a graph if we see. So a DAG, like it is a series of tasks so that we want to run as a part of workflow. So this might be a Python code or a SQL query, or any calculations in Python or Spark, and then to transform a data, like any jobs. So we can define it in a tag. So each task is each tag is written in each task is written and then uh, relatively designed in a DAG form. So and then each DAG has different operators. So which is like there are bash operator, so which calls which trigger which executes a CLI command, shell script command, and then we have Python operator. We have Python operator, which we can call a function, Python function, and then we can we can transform any data in Python using pandas or like anything. And then we have email operator, which sends an email on failure, or even as a task. When we complete a task, we can send an email that this task is being completed. And we have HTTP operator. We have very we have huge amount of operators. Also, I think we will be able to develop a custom operator as well in DAG. So we'll see how to define a tag. So we will see all this in demo, but just to show. So we define a tag with default arguments. These are all the argument dictionary which is must while defining a tag. So we define the owner, and then we say whether the task is depends on past, and we'll define the start date of the workflow. We will these default arguments are like we can define a specific argument in task, but like it's not like we can't do that. But these default arguments can be utilized in the task, so that we don't declare it for each task. So these default arguments can be retrieved to each of the task from the parameter. So we have the retry delay, and then so how we define a tag. So tag object is created, and with the tag ID passed through that argument, and then uh, we uh, we uh, we also we also get the pass the argument as get the default arguments as a parameter, and then we can also schedule the tag. Uh, so like we do it in cron job. So we have uh, we can define a cron set of cron, how we defined in the how we define it in cron. We can similarly we can do it in tag schedule interval as well. So uh, so how we define a task. So as I said, so each task depends on the operator we use. So in this example, so if you see, we have a Python operator and the email operator. So which we see, so the Python operator have a task ID, and then it calls a function called routine, which is like in Python callable. I have defined I am calling a function, and then I am passing these arguments, which is activity, and then a string which tells that like I'm brushing my teeth, and then we have an email operator. Uh, yeah, I heard a sound. Like, is there any doubt? Okay. So we also have an email operator which also send a message to a recipient with the message, so that I like with the message as well. So this is how we define the task, and then so we define the relation between task like this. So we can use two things. So one to define with bitwise up. Sorry. One we can define it with bitwise operator. Like we have so if you see, this is how the DAG look like. So this is how the workflow look like. So if you see the sequential DAG, so the activities are like wake up, brush, coffee, bath, breakfast, office. So this is how flow. So I define the task like wake up with the bitwise operator, and also we can use it set. We can also use the set upstream, set downstream value, and then we can see. So after wake up, the brush tasks should happen, and then after brush there should be a coffee time. So similarly we can execute things in parallel. So so after brush, you see, we can so we are executing both coffee and exercise in parallel. And then after these both gets executed, and then only we execute the task called bath, and then similarly it goes. So this is how we define the task in our DAG Python code. And then so we have something called XCOM. So XCOM like is like exchanging a message between tasks. So if we have a task wake up, and then we have a task office, so we can get the message return value of the wake up task, and then we can retrieve it in our office task, and then we can write it. So this is something which is definitely needed when we work on the data pipeline. So we definitely need some values returned from another task to in the task executing. So we will be able to pull the task using XCOM pull and XCOM push. uh, any doubts till now?
No, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So okay, so we will see a demo on how like how the DAG gets executed. So uh, so like I said, so we have Airflow web server, so which is a separate process, runs in our local machine. So we have when we trigger a job, so in the background, so basically the Airflow web server and scheduler should be running in the background. So I'll start the web server, and then the Airflow scheduler. So I have these DAGs present in my in my Airflow home DAG folder. So I'll just show you the expected installation in a local machine. So we should have Python, and then we should have an Airflow home where we have the Airflow DAG and the Airflow config files and the list of DAGs we have, and this, and then we should, like, it's like easily we can install Apache Airflow, and then we should have we can have a DB. It can be MySQL or Postgres. So to log each and every step, and then we should port our web server in a local host 8080, or it can be any URL we can host it. So we can mention this port in our airflow.cfg. So, so these DAG we have right now. So I'll execute. So if I, after when I start the web server, so I'll be able to see my uh, see my list of DAGs in my user interface as well. So we have these list of DAGs, and then if you see routine, so we have if you see the graph, so this is what happens. So it is like these are the sequential tasks happening in our workflow. So if you see the code, so I have a simple function, so which is an activity function, which gets the activity message from the DAG, and then it simply write it in a text file we along with the time. So okay, this is a simple function, def routine, and then this is our DAG. So as I said, so we have the default arguments declared in our Airflow, and then we have so just a moment, this is for another example. Okay, we are defining the tag. So this is the tag ID routine, and then we are getting the default arguments, and then I'm not scheduling it right now. We can manually trigger this, and then I have these tasks. So T1, so which is wake up, and then it has this activity, and then this have this message, and then T2, which is brush, and then this have this message, and then email one we okay. And then we have email one task, which is email operator. Basically it sends out this message in an email. So basically this T1 operator, it calls the function routine, which we have in activity.py. So I am importing this routine job from the jobs.activity, and then it is in a job folder. So I'm importing that in my tag. So basically that's what I'm doing. And then so I have similarly I have these operators. So it similarly write get pass this message, and then I write it along with the time, and then finally I have another email operator which sends another email that I'm on so I'm ready to go office. So this is how I declare the dependencies between these tasks. So once T1 executed, that should be T2, and then email one, and then T3, T4, and then email 2. So this is very, like, this is as simple as we see. So this is how we define a tag. That's it. And then if we see, so this is how our tag looks like. So I'll just trigger this uh, tag so that we can see. So the wake up task is running. And then if we see, so like the function, it called in function, and then it started to write. And then so I have this woke up, I just woke up message, and then it is written in 1528, which is 328. And then we have this task called brush, and then this brush has this message which is given in like, hey, like, hey, brushing my teeth. and then the message is written here, and then we have bathing, after which we have bathing, which happens at 15:28, and then so there is little difference, just to go through the flow. I'm just putting the time as well. And then so before after brushing, so definitely we would have got a mail, uh, so I've got a mail that, so hey buddy, have a coffee. So this is the third task which we have coffee, and then when I refresh it, I think it got completed the whole task. So the success is highlighted in green. So the whole workflow has been executed, and then the green shows that it's running. If it is filed, that is filed. So if you see that, so this happens at 15:28. After brushing my teeth, we would have got a mail that okay, we have brushed the teeth, and then you should have a coffee, which we have got the mail, and then it executed bath and breakfast task, and then which we would have got bath and the breakfast task executed sequentially, and then finally we would have got for the final task mail. So this is a work time, and then the final task. So this is how we define a task. So so maybe I'll add an extra Python operator to see also show how both tasks runs parallelly. Like till now, any doubts?
It's
So
clear,
leave it on.
Syed. One doubt I have, is it similar to Azure ADF pipelines?
Exactly. So similar, so we have ADF pipeline. So yeah, but um, uh, we can't say that airflow like itself is not a data pre-processing framework. So uh, it actually it doesn't actually pass data in between data in memory between steps, but instead it just coordinates the data movement. So we define the function, so it just coordinate the movement. But I think in ADF, so we will be able to uh, import the data from SSMS, or so Airflow does all this functionality, but in which is built in ADF itself. But if you see Airflow, we have to define a function, something like, so we should have an API to bring the data from SSMS to Azure ADLS. But then we can say that okay, after bringing the data to ADLS from SSMS, and then we can have another task which moves the data from ADLS to another SQL DB. We have to define it in a Python function, or any function, or it can be a Databricks code. But we can call a Python function and then says okay, call this function which brings the data from SSMS to ADLS, and then you call the other function which can bring the data to ADL, which can put the data which can take the data from ADLS to SQL. So it can define the workflow, and then it can monitor and execute the data flow moment. But this doesn't do the actual job. Um,
Okay. Okay.
able to
So basically, we need the functions to actually trigger the task, right? So that's the
Exactly.
difference.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So, even the use case I've explained, right? So,
Yeah.
if so actually we have a package. So in AWS we have a Porto 3 package which can start a glue job, or which can query Athena. So we have a Python function. So I'll show. So we have a Python function to start a glue job, and then glue job, and then this job as a task is triggered through triggered from Airflow, which we define. So we can parameterize the job ID and job name, so that this particular job triggers this particular glue job, and then after this job runs in, and then refresh the refresh the Athena. So we have an Athena function which can query the Athena, and then we can pass the query, and the table and database can be parameterized. So everything, like, we can easily parameterize the values which we are going to use through Airflow, but the actual function does the work. But we will be able to uh, uh, assign the relationship between tasks, so that we don't have to like monitor, and then we don't have to uh, 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 like see whether once the job is completed, and then we have to execute the other. So Airflow like solves all this problem, but uh, this Airflow is not doing the actual job.
Okay, so basically we need functions and the overall flow process for each of the job that we are going to do, right? So we
Correct,
need to hard
exactly.
code everything in the programmatic way, and then it does Airflow takes care of the job, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, any other question? Okay, so
If say one
yeah, yeah.
sorry to interrupt, like if
No,
you
no, no,
have time,
definitely.
like can you show us a real work pipeline that you have built for any project, so that it would be easy for us to understand, like in what situations we can use this, because the simple example you showed us, it's like it's an abstract one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it
So
would be better if we have like get to see the real workflow pipeline that you did. That would be helpful.
okay, so I don't think I won't be able to trigger it. So we use that in Smart Insights product, but we are out of that team right now. But yeah, I'll just show you the DAG we have for, so the use case which I explained, right? The
Yeah,
competitor
yeah.
analysis. So for that, so we have so this is how, so these three, so first, if you see this, these two are the glue job, and then we have data refresh. So this does, so okay, I'll show you the DAG as well. So we have the competitor analysis job. So I have an YAML file. So for this competitor analysis, I have a different job ID, 5 job ID for 5 different jobs, and then I'm passing the database, which is Smart Insights, and then the job type, and then I give the project ID, which tells us that it runs for a specific category, and then we have table. These are all the parameters I pass it for this particular competitor analysis job. So which has and which have around 7 to 8 tasks. So if you see, so we have a task. So this competitor one, this first job. So we have to we pass the job ID which we get from the config YAML. So even in the YAML file, we don't need to manually enter. So we can just have a script, Python script, to add our parameters. So I get the job ID, and then the project ID and the job type, and then similarly I get this job ID for this particular job, and then for data refresh. So for MSCK repair function, so I pass the database name and table. Maybe what I'll do is, if I don't have the real triggering glue job, I'll have something like Flow Athena, where I'll print the database name. Okay, I think I have flow go. So I'll write. Okay. So
Sorry, one quick question. So all these functions, job runner functions, what it does is it will trigger your database, and then it will get the relevant data set, result set, and then it will process and then flow it to the next task, right? That's what all these functions is doing.
this
That,
function, no. This function just triggers it triggers the actual glue job. That actual glue jobs reads the data from S3 and then it transforms it and then writes the data to another directory in S3. So after it writes the data in S3, so we get the uh, we get the status of our pipeline. So we get the status of our pipeline. So while it is running, so
Okay.
we get the status. When it is success, so we give back the give back the flow to Airflow again. So once it gets the run, it gets success. So we return the value. We return the value, and then it got to know that okay, this actual function, this first task has been completed, and then it start to it start trigger it start in it will invoke the next task. So like if I have to
Okay.
take,
So yeah, basically it just triggers the job, and then once it's done, it will just trigger the next job in the sequence. So that's what it
correct,
does, right?
correct,
It doesn't
yes.
do the actual work.
As I said, yes, it doesn't do the actual work. Uh, uh, it's like so. Yeah, like when you say ADF, so we can also have a set of pipeline in ADF that pipeline would like this actually ADF wouldn't get anything. But if we have a list of Databricks code, if we have 5 Databricks code, and then after this Databrick, like after the first code, it should run the other code. Actually, ADF is not running that actual Databricks code. So like the it just trigger the Databricks code once that gives the success message, and then it gives it invokes the other Databricks job. So similarly, like if you take that analogy here, you will be able to get it
Yeah,
right.
yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, got
Uh,
it, sir. Yeah.
yes. Okay. Thanks so much. Any other question? Okay, so uh, I'll also show like okay. Uh, I don't think I'll be able to trigger the actual S3, sorry, AWS Glue Job and Athena. Maybe I can write the parameters which I'm getting. Is it fine, Ariaran? If you want,
No, sir.
or
It's fine, fine. I got the hang of it. Like, no issues. I just
okay,
want to know like how things work. So, but yeah, I think I got it. No
yeah,
need to trigger any jobs. Fine. Thanks for.
okay. So so yeah, definitely. So if we would have a similar problem in we may have a similar problem in our project where we have to define the workload. So we would have manually run the glue jobs or manually run the Databricks code. We can, so even in even if you take ADF, so we can have we can define a workflow. So if we have Databricks code or Azure functions which we have in ADF pipeline, so we have specific API documentation for each and every services we have in Azure. So that if we have a Python function which can call a Databricks code or Azure functions, and then these function can be called in a task. Maybe this task one can call the Databricks code. Once that is done, so it can take that output, and then it can pull the output, and it can show it in UI via Azure function. So we can define the first task as Databricks code, and then we can define the second task in Azure function. So even then, like instead of Azure Data Factory, we may be able to use Airflow as well to design the workflow and to trigger like to run a data pipeline, maybe. So but so we haven't executed these in ADF, but we have did it in AWS, as I said. So I'll also try to cover one more thing, so which we have discussed already. So this is XCOM, so which is something like we used in our project. So we in our pipeline, so we may definitely need of exchanging the messages between data. So I'll just show you. Um, I'll try to cover both. running parallelly, and then so I'll add another task which also which calls the same function but with different message. So maybe this is T5. I think I have it till T4. Yeah, I'll have T5, and then this is something, okay, exercise task, and then this is a exercise, and then I'll so okay, I'll have I want this return function. I want when this task get executed, I want this function's message to be retrieved in any other function. So I'll add another argument. So do xcom push is equal to true, and then if I have to retrieve this message, and so if I have to retrieve this message in office, and then so I will add another. So uh, but okay, I'll just show press start. I'll have this value. I'll get this value, brush value here, and so the uh, I'll get the task instance, and then I get the XCOM. uh, I'll pull the message. So using XCOM pull uh, function. So XCOM pull, then the task ID from which task I have to get. So the task ID of this uh, is okay. Okay. So now we see our DAG. So our simple routine DAG, we could see the changes in our workflow. Sorry, okay. Exercise, I didn't define it. So we created another task T5, right? So we will parallelly run T2 and T5. Maybe okay, T and T5, T5. So we can define like how we how in a list, how we define it in a list. So we can have so the task which should be run parallelly can be defined it like this. So this is how I do it, and then if we see our pipeline. So this is of like, so the task 5 which have exercise task, and then the task uh, 3 which is bath task. So these two happens parallelly. So if I trigger the pipeline now, so I'll have this I'll have this deleted so that we can see the message as well. So I'll trigger this pipeline. So the wake up task is running. So this was the okay. So this happens at 3:48:11, and then we have another. So we have the next task. So if you see bath task and the exercise task, this happens at same time, which is 15:48. Like, sorry, 1 minute. Which two tasks are bath tasks? So this is done. This is executed. Reload. Uh, I'll just rerun. I just got confused. Okay, I'll just rerun the tag. So also I'll also add one more thing. So while it's running, so if we have the task filed in any of the tasks, maybe if it is filing it in a task, so we can modify the changes, so we can debug what exactly happened in the function. So we will be able to see the log here from so what happened. So we will be able to see the file here as well, and then we can resolve the issue, and then we can instantiate the tag from the filed task itself. So we will be able to uh, resume from the file tags, so that we are not again rerunning the whole pipeline again from the first. So we will be able to do that as well through Airflow. So from the UI itself, so no need to do anything through command line or through code. So we can easily do it through user interface itself. So I'll see the text now. So we have these tasks happening, and then we have this message. Uh, so the recent message is that, so okay, this is the mail, this is the task, the mail task we have, and then the XCOM office um, uh, would have run, and then it should have sent a mail along with the time, like the time we press. So this time, if you see, this is the value returned from the brushed task. So if we see that task, so we will have this same value. So we were able to retrieve that message to in another task as well. So so this is a simple example, but this is not what exactly happened. We are going we will be using different set of exchanging messages between tasks, but this is like just to show that we exchange the messages. We will be able to exchange the messages between tasks. Oh, so able to get that right. So any questions till now? No, no questions. Too many questions. So do you want to see the resume functionality as well? So like we can have a we can have another function. So maybe I'll have another function, and then I'll which we will have a function that files explicitly, so that we can resolve that function, and then we can able to resume it from there. So if like I think we already crossed our time. If we want, so we can definitely do that, or so we can directly connect with me, so that we can also see how we can implement Airflow across, so in your projects as well if we need it. So this is just to show how we can implement, so how the workflow can be built, how the how the relation between task is being declared in our tag, and how we can parallelize the task. So just to give the introduction on it, but we can dive deep into this Airflow, and then we can explore and implement this in our data pipelines, big data pipelines as well. So you can definitely feel free to connect with me on this. So on Airflow, and so also as I said, so uh, sorry, we had this use cases which we resolved in our Smart Insights product. So maybe I'll see the list of tasks we were executing. So um, we had these different jobs which we had. So we had conversation summary which had different glue jobs, which have to run for different source IDs, also for different job IDs. So we can we can run it. We can parallelize by getting the dynamic parameters, because we will be running the same job for different parameters, for different job IDs, different source IDs. We can't run manually, so we can't change it manually. We can't change the job IDs and source IDs manually for each job, and then running it manually would take more time. But so if we have that in our if we have the list of job IDs, if we have the list of source IDs, so we can get those parameters in our DAG, and then we can trigger it based on the relations between these IDs and tasks as well. So we can definitely see how we can implement this in our in other projects as well if we need. Uh, so I think that's it from my side. Hope I have covered most of the things, but on the introduction perspective, so we can also go we can also explore more on that if we need it. Yes. So thank you. So any questions? Feel free to ask now. So if not, you can also directly ping me. Uh, Team, any questions? Team? Any questions? No problem. So any questions we can see.
Yes, I had a little suggestion. I think you covered it in this slide actually. So I wanted to ask you, is there any good starter or beginner materials that we should look out for when we start to learn this Airflow thing? So that would be helpful. I think you have covered it in this slide itself. Yeah.
Uh,
Apart from that,
yes,
if you feel like if any articles will be good for beginners, maybe you can add that also here before sharing with us.
yeah,
Be
sure.
of great
So
help.
definitely, Ariana. Thanks. Definitely do it. I'll be very happy to help on the Airflow side. So I'll definitely share you the list of documents. So maybe
Yeah,
to
sure.
all of you. Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, any other thing, team? Any questions? Fine. Any questions you can ask, so we can see. No problem.
Hi Syed, this is Naveen.
Hey, hi, Nabil.
In order to access this AWS resources, right, we need to configure this AWS CLI on our terminal, right?
Correct. Exactly. Yes. Yes. So we will be having an access key, right? So we will be uh, storing this. Like we'll be in a terminal. We will add this access key so that we will be able to access the S3. Similarly, I think in every other cloud environment, we will have the access key to access the specific services. So we
Yeah.
should have that definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Syed.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, team? Okay, I'll assume that that's no question. Okay, once again, very thank you so much for joining this session. Uh, like uh, uh, very happy to share the knowledge which I have grasped. So uh, if there is any doubt or any clarifications, or we can join and work to how we can resolve an issue which which whether like anyone facing in their project, or how we can implement this airflow for this business requirement. So we can definitely do that. I'll be happy to help you all, team. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Sayed, for explaining so
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.